and set time. Well, that's basically true, except for a little bit, this set time is a little bit incomplete. I'll show you. Well, basically that's the solution, but first I want to run it. As you can see, in the folder is basically empty except the run script and the transformation itself. And of course I use the same transformation for all on-off and the set time test case. Well, then it runs and it imports eCore and, well, basically exports eCore and it creates some visualizations. So, for example, that's the target configuration of the on-off thing, where you see you have two modes on-off with this change display action, which displays some constant, and here the constant is empty. And you can toggle mode with the mode button. Okay. Now let's upload this one to the server. Bang, on off, upload, and it says hello, and if you toggle, well, the display vanishes. And the other one is the set time, and that's slightly incomplete. Well, as you can see, there is some action hanging in the air. And we didn't manage to make it, the solution work with I guess it was some guard in something, which checks for some special time and then it does something different. But we didn't manage to do that. So if I upload this one, set time, well, you can show the clock and you can change the time, but there's something special which we didn't do. Okay, now to the transformation. Well, I'll start with the easy ones. The more complex things I cannot understand anymore anyhow. So, well, any configuration has exactly one configuration node. So basically the idea of GReTL is you specify well, a type like this configuration and you provide a set of arbitrary elements, and for any element in the set there will be a new node of the type in the target graph. So we create one configuration which is mapped to the string config. So we can refer to that configuration using the string config. So then for all check modes with equal names, we create a mode. Basically this means if you have several check modes, because you have several test cases that work on the same mode, you get exactly one mode for each name. And again, we can refer to each mode with the name of the mode. Well then we set the attribute, the mode names, then exactly the mode name back to the mode name. You can refer to the mode name, to the mode with the mode name, and that's exactly the value of the name attribute. Well, and basically to assign, for example, the buttons that are applicable in a mode, it's pretty handy if we can use something like this as a path expression which checks for the existence of a given path. So between the mode and the button in that mode, there has to be a connection like that. So we traverse to containment edges to some test case, and from there to containment edges to the button, or to the thing from which we transform the button in the target mode. Well, then we connect those. And because of this ordering thingy, where in the specification it was said you use the first button, the second button, or the third button, well, it's pretty handy to have some helper, which simply translates the first to 0, the second to 1, and everything else. So you cannot have more than 3 buttons, but I guess that's enough. Yeah?
Isn't this a reference and you have this observe button where you exactly have the same name?
Well, it did. Since our eCore import preserved the order of elements and our graphs are ordered anyway, there's an order between everything, I think this might work. Actually,
you can name them 42 and it's the first one, so it's
Well, if you name the, yeah, well,
It's
I
an
said
arbitrary string.
it's 3 buttons, not more. If you have more than 3 buttons, it will fail. Okay.
I'm not happy with that.
Yeah, I'm not happy with that anyway. Okay. Well, that's a transformation, but now I take over to Sasha.
I have 1.5 minutes left, I guess.
Yeah. He tackled the
Okay,
second
I
extension.
tried to tackle the optional task for the inconsistency checks, and there were 3 examples. One of them was the contradiction, and that's the only one I covered. And it's like a step before you actually perform the transformation. And I did it. I just run it. So you see, it just gives true or false if it's if the model is okay or not. And I did it. And I only did the contradiction check. You see here it says false, and the other 2 it says true, even if it's not okay. And how it works is, no, it's the wrong one. What is this Eclipse in? Basically, it's based on these GReTL queries. What's this? It takes tuples from the test case and the action and the condition and the observation. So it's basically if you have the same condition and the same actions, it's defined by the values of the attributes, and they touch at least one equal observation, then it's a contradiction, because then it's like in the example, if 2 modes have to be set or something like this. And that's basically what it does. And my time is up. Any questions to this?
Yeah.
Did you look at the ordering of modes? I mean, in the first 2 examples, it was only 2 modes, so the order doesn't really matter. And the second one was 1. So
I didn't.
I didn't even have a look at the third case where more words.
Oh, but yeah, no, neither did I. But I guess it was fairly obvious that at some point we have to calculate a total order of modes that respects the transition was. So you didn't have a look.
Not really.
Okay.
Is it possible to convert a string into an int and word in the CReTL tool?
Pardon?
For the set time, you need to convert the time given as a string into an integer or into two integers.
No. The computation is done by some increment value which does the right thing for you. So you
need to. Well, for the guard, I mean the 1337.
Yeah, for the guard, but the guard, well,
yeah,
we don't have it.
Yeah, my question is it possible to do that?
Yeah.
Well, you could create a function. So GReTL is extensible. You can create function in plain Java which parses an int, and then you have it. But well, you don't have it.
What if the search button is only ever referenced in the search and mode? Do you create the first and second as well?
If there's a mentioning of first and second,
No, there isn't. There's just a mentioning of the search button in that mode.
well, would this be a valid specification?
Yes?
Yes.
Why not?
I cannot judge. I would have to test.
This is something
I
you
have
should.
no idea what is a valid specification. It wasn't specified in the case, so I think that's valid.
I don't think it would be valid. It would be
Well,
something
good.
to
That's
take
the question
And
to
the
Lewis.
first and the second button, you just don't know their names.
Or if they're called premier and deuxième, like.
But the order of buttons in the model is relevant for the first and second. In the modes, the order of buttons in the modes is relevant, right? And
Well,
this is
it's just a name.
Just a name.
If you look at the meta model, it's just a name. For each button in the model, we have some names.
There's kind of a,
yeah,
But when you
names of the-
specify the behaviour, then you refer to the buttons by their ordering rather than by name. So
well,
it's-
kind of. It's actually a string in the meta model, so.
Yeah, it's string.
But the string refers to
So you can-
an ordinal rather than the button hour.
It does in the
That's the
examples,
first
yeah.
button.
so many examples. But I mean, with your parser, I would assume you could put in
Oh, sure.
the food
Yeah, sure. The
button and
parser
bath
will.
button.
The parser would take anything. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Okay, so I think we're probably out of time for
Yes,
questions.
but the question is, how do you deal with this architecture criteria?
Sure. Okay. So the idea with the architecture criteria was, you know, how modular is the transformation? Is it all in one big rule, or has it been split up well? So this is quite a good example because you guys tackled kind of two different concerns. You had the transformation and the separate kind of sanity checks, and these were separate.
Yeah, but
so how would these integrate? You run one and then you run the other?
well,
or?
the nice thing is you can run GReTL from the command line.
Sure.
So we have a script, and normally we would have first checked, and if the specification is valid, then we would transform, and if not, we will skip it, and well,
You have to change.
So yeah.
so I email to the administrator.
Yes.
We didn't have the time to combine those two.
Sure. But you know, in theory, this is possible.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. So that's kind of what I was getting at with this criteria.
So
Okay. So next is